My parents, my father and my stepmother, they were very well traveled, like business people, so very well traveled. And every time they would come home, they'll bring something. And my father really loved to cook. Like he was a really amazing cook. And my stepmother was an amazing cook as well. The only thing was that I couldn't learn from her because it came with too many insults. But she was an amazing cook. Like during growing up, she had a KitchenAid mixer. Like she was great. And they say, you know how parents say, oh, you're bad, let's teach you. It didn't work on me because I didn't have the time to now come and think about how to make granola soup. Because I literally had to like fight for my life every day. So I cannot be thinking of how to make granola soup. But the interesting thing was, the only time my father and I would bond, the only time was when he was cooking. Okay. Because he would call me and say, come and grind this for me. He literally taught me how to sweep.
Hi everyone, welcome to Truly Talkative Podcast. I'm your host, Eno Kwegren. I thought I knew like 100%.
98%.
What is this?
There's a reason for everything, but there's not a justification for everything.
No, let me start going where I'm coming from.
That day is like I'm playing and they come here. Come here. Yes, you.
Hi guys, welcome back to Truly Talkative. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please go do that right now because I'm tired of fighting with you guys. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, welcome back. Today, we have Jay from Mukasechic. Everyone knows as Mukasechic. I think a few people know you as Jay, but I think people call you Mukasechic, don't they?
Yeah.
So you're the founder of Mukasechic.
Yes.
Anajuwachi.
Yes.
I think this, what are the others? No, I want to mention everything.
Culinary for social change.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So everything you do is food.
Yes, for now.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
For now.
Okay. So before we dive into how you go into food and all that, because this podcast is about delving into our childhood, I believe that a lot of what we do now has to do with our upbringing or something we saw in our childhood, something we were exposed to or experienced or whatever. Okay. So let's talk about you growing up, little G.
So my government name is actually Joyce.
Oh, what? Okay.
And Jay is my nickname. It's like the name the boys gave me at the start.
Oh, okay. So Joyce, what's your full name?
Gyebi, Abrefi Gyebi.
Joyce Abrefi Gyebi.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
So little Joyce,
yes.
Growing up, what was that like?
Ooh, I mean, I just remember little parts of it. I always played with the boys. First child.
Okay, how many were you?
So we are 3. Okay. Well, I have a very interesting family dynamic, but we are 3.
Okay.
And then I have like other sets of siblings from different. But from my father's side, we are 3. From
your father and mother, how many are you?
Just me.
Oh, yes. Okay. But you were not raised as an only child.
I was raised until the 2 others came.
Interesting. Okay, so for the longest time, only child.
Yeah, for the longest time was me.
Till how old were you?
I think maybe around 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. I moved in to stay with my dad and my stepmom. So my stepmom also had her sister's son, who was like my brother. Okay. So that's when I figured I had a sibling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So up until then, like, how was life for you?
I do not remember anything, to be very honest. I just remember I went to a school called MISPA.
Okay.
And then the rest, nothing else. Nothing else.
And so, like, you don't remember, like, okay, maybe let's say, people have this notion that only kids, they get their way, they are spoiled. Like, you don't remember having your way, being like nothing.
No, okay. I don't remember that. Okay. I just, remember always playing with the boys.
Okay.
Interested in football at a certain age.
Okay.
Sometimes quiet, sometimes not quiet.
Yeah.
And then I just remember living with my father and my stepmom.
Okay. What was that experience like?
Oh, I know I said the spirit should lead you, but it's leading you.
Not that way. You don't
let it lead you there.
Let's go there small.
Oh my God. So I'll talk just a little bit about it because this is something that I really don't like to talk about.
Okay.
And the only times I've talked about it is to very close relatives and friends of mine. I don't think it was a best of experience, living with my father and my stepmom. Then I don't know how I processed it. Then I didn't even know whether that was a good experience or not. For me as a child, it was just about living. Living a day after a day. But I think now that I'm grown up, matured in my faith and matured as an adult, I've been able to, process it now, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I feel like a little, like some part of my childhood was robbed during that process.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get to see your mom during that period?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I never got to see her until secondary school, third year.
Was there any explanation given? Did you ask of her?
Well, I don't remember I didn't ask of her.
Okay.
Explanation given. There were explanations thrown around.
Okay.
Not to explain to me.
Okay.
But she also didn't give me too much of an explanation when she came in. But we're good.
Yeah. And so from that time, let's move to you started living with your mom again. And do you feel like, okay, maybe my quality of life improved? Like I don't know, I'm getting maybe the bond I need to get with the parents and all that. Did you feel you got that?
I never was able to live with my mom.
Oh.
So I didn't get that bond.
Okay.
I'm now still trying to build that bond. Strangely, I'm not sure if my mom sees this, she's gonna freak out. I'll still try to build that bond. I don't know if it'll be with my mom. I have now gotten a little bit of that bond from my aunties.
Okay.
Like I have a beautiful group of women, like my father's sisters, my guardian and her family, and that's where I'm getting the bond from. Okay. So they made me see the difference between like this could be your mother and this could not be your mother.
Yeah. Okay.
But with my mom,
nah. Why do you feel you were gravitating more towards boys?
Why was I gravitating? Well, I think they were the closest humans. We lived, I think when my father was building his house, it was almost ready, and I think we lived in my uncle's house for maybe a couple of months.
Okay.
And we had neighbors, the Boatins. There were 2 boys.
Okay.
And then there was my stepmother's sister's son, or let me say my stepmother's son.
Okay.
So there were 3 boys.
Okay.
And we would all go to association together. So I'll do what they wanted to do. And I kind of found it fun. So, video games, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Renting my bicycles, all those things.
Interesting. Do you think were you a tomboy? Like
no,
back, you weren't.
No. So I'm not really like a tomboy, but there are aspects of boyish things that I like. Like I like boyish clothes, like a few boyish clothes to mix it with girly clothes.
Yeah.
I have like a few small boyish attitudes.
Okay.
Like I could decide to be very nonchalant if I want to.
Right.
But I also love feminism. It's like I love a true beautiful lady, but who is not afraid to like also pick some things from the other gender.
Yeah. No, because I'm asking this because I mean everyone knows I don't have a sister.
Yeah.
And I grew up with boys.
Yeah.
And so there were basic girly things that I didn't know how to do until maybe I think maybe 7, 8.
Oh, yeah.
Before then, like I didn't know how to play Ampy for the longest time. I'd never played in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to skip.
Yeah.
I didn't. What else? Like they were just like normal things that girls do. I didn't know how to do. So in the house, it was more of bicycle riding was my thing.
Yeah.
To the point where like I had scars all over my legs. Because when you're learning to ride, get hurt.
Yes.
And then even after a while, like there's competition.
Yes.
So like you're trying to catch up and then you fall. And then like maybe your bicycle tire, what's it called? It's gotten flattened on your chain.
Yeah, the chain.
So like you move to and then it's all these like sketchy places for someone to fix it for you. So go with boys there. you have some coins, you give it to them and then they'll do it for you. And
Yeah, I
things like
think it
that.
was the same for me. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have teddy bears. I didn't have like, girly stuff.
Right.
I would play ampy when I go to school. But even when I went to school, I was still like with the boys. Like I would talk about Mortal Kombat and like that was me. Like it was just like I started wearing braces at a very young age because I fell. I said I was a goalkeeper and I fell. Like it doesn't even make sense. But those were the things that really interested me at that point.
Yeah. Oh no, the football thing is actually funny because there was something called I think it was a four corners.
Four corners, yeah.
That's what we always play four corners. Like when I see these things, I'm like, I'm sure people are like, are you sure? I did all those things.
Yeah,
I did all those things.
I did
it
all
was
those
later
things.
on in school that I started to get female friends. And I always say that, my friend Elom, everyone knows Asika, was the one who taught me everything girly.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. You come home. So I used to force my younger brothers to play ampy with me. So they wouldn't play. Then I'll play with like a pot.
Yeah.
People share these stories and they think that, oh, you are looking for sympathy. But really, that's what it was.
No, it's true. I remember when I was in JSS, I had these pair of boots. Like they were like boots.
Okay.
And they were like leathery, black and shiny. You have no idea how proud I was of those boots. Like to the extent that it was crazy. But like when I take it to school, the girls, they don't get it.
Like, why are you
so like, what are you talking about? But like, my sneakers, I'll say like, I'm wearing an Adidas or I'm wearing Fila, those times. And I'm like, I'm wearing a Fila. Like, why are you so interested? But that was just me. I really love some sneakers and things like that. I didn't get the opportunity to do the skirts and the Barbie dolls. And I've never even owned a teddy bear in my life.
Wow. So, I think teddy bear, I think I didn't.
I mean, I knew about those things, but I just didn't have
it. Okay. So now, like SS, you said you met your mom, you reconnected.
Yes.
And then so during that time, were you living with your aunties, the ones you got close to?
I was still living with my father, but unfortunately he passed in JSS 3.
Oh.
So once he passed, there was a whole different dynamic as well.
Okay. Yeah. So you were living with family, let's put it that way. Okay.
I remember that. I mean, once he passed, I lived with my guardian a bit, and I lived with my grandparents as well.
Was the guardian related?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My guardian was not related, and I lived with my grandparents as well.
Okay.
And then I moved on to live by myself, and that's it.
How old were you when you first started living on your own?
Oh, I don't remember, but I'll be in my 20s when I finished uni, like a few years after I finished uni.
Okay.
Because I was already working when I was in uni. Okay. So once I finished uni, I just...
Okay, so we kind of skipped a bit. So what was your first job?
My first job? What was my first job? I used to... This is interesting. My first job, there was this... There was so many. Now I'm thinking about it. I was working, I didn't even have to, but I was. Okay. But I remember one of my first job was, I was a backup singer for Becca. I've never said this loud before.
Wow.
I know. I was a backup singer for Becca. So I would run from school and we would do that. We did her first show with her, Miss Ghana, something. I was a secretary or something to a Greek company that needed a secretary for what reason I do not know.
You didn't have any training, like I
didn't have any training. It wasn't someone who could speak and be charismatic. I was right there. And I took that job. And then vacation, I'll just do things that were just interesting to me. And then I started working with EXP Ghana, which is an experimental company, marketing company.
Okay.
I did that every time I'll finish, we'll go on vacation. And then when I completed school, I just continued.
Did you work because you needed money? Did you work because you were bored? Were you looking for experiences? Like, why did you work?
I worked because I feel like I shouldn't be idle.
Okay.
And I worked because I've also always believed that if you want to do something, you must start from the bottom up.
Interesting.
So
where did that come from?
I've always had it, even as a child. Wow. So there was no reason for me to go and work. The story about working at this experimental company was there was a boy who liked me and he was 2 years ahead of me. So he came to Legon and then he says, oh, I'm a big shot now. I work in this company, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what company? He said it and I Googled it. I have a thing of like, when you talk to me and I don't understand what you're saying, I'll Google it so that I can understand.
Yes.
So I Googled it and I realized, oh, it's a marketing company. They have branches, essay here and there. And I was in the theater arts department. I did radio, television, drama.
Yeah.
So I said, well, it's kind of connected because and I said, hey, can I come and do like vacation work? He's like, no. The guy was just flexing me about. So I didn't say nothing. And I go and work for these Greek investor people. And I meet a Ghanaian in the group. He says, hey, what do you do? I'm a Legon. What course do you study? Theater arts. Oh, he says, my brother studied theater arts. I said, Grace, where's your brother now? Oh, he owns a company, What's the name of the company? Same company. So I said, what? He said, yeah. I said, I want to work. He said, are you serious? Go and see my brother on Monday. I go and I see the brother. He says, oh, I also went to the same school, same department. No problem if you want to do this. And Monday morning, me and my so-called boyfriend, we are all in the same meeting, looking at each other's face like, here I am.
Hey, that's
how I
interesting.
started.
Okay. No, when you said the Googling thing, it was interesting. I've always said that you and my husband are kind of
yes.
Because recently we met up with some friends, a family friend of his and his fiance, and the fiance said she was doing a PhD in the course and that he had no idea. But we've had sometimes you hear something about like never been curious enough to check it out or Google it. So yesterday, before we met them, he's Googling what she's studying. And I was like, oh, but why are you Googling? And he's like, oh, no, so that we can have something to talk about. And I'm like, no, but it's fine just asking. Like, because that's me. And I know you guys are like, no, let me get the information before I. But I'm just like, oh, like, so what is that? Like, I want to know everything. I'll ask. So when you said that, I was like, wow, you guys are twins. Anyway, so that was your second company. And then what else?
Second company, I did some work with L'Oreal. So anytime they would like introduce a new product for hair and stuff, they would call me. I would go in there, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I did a whole lot of things, and until eventually, I was told to come and work at the company. So I worked there for a while.
But how were you getting all these gigs? Like how? Because young girl, you're in Legon. I don't know about now, but I feel like then, unless you have some connections or something, like how would you?
So I mentioned that I had braces.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I started wearing my braces, I had a chipped tooth.
Okay.
And I had a blood clot on my teeth because when I fell, the time I fell, they couldn't take me to the hospital early. So when I went there and they gave me the braces, I had the clot anyway.
Okay. So,
and I did drama theater. Like I was in a department with Nadia Boari, Rosalind Giza. They were like my mates, Fifi Coma, all these people. And at that particular time, it's like you either end up as an actress, actor, DJ, musician, or whatever. So it's like you're in front of the camera or you're behind the camera. Mm-hmm. So I realized that me having the braces, which nobody even knew what braces was at that point, and my chipped tooth was not allowing me to smile. So I said, okay, if I have a problem smiling and people are always going to ask, what's in your teeth? What's in your teeth? Yeah. I need to like find something else that makes me more interesting to talk to and to look at. Okay. So instead of me waiting for things to come to me, I would go and say, hey, I think there's an opportunity here and I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to, be there, even if you're not going to pay me. And then I have to prove myself, obviously. Okay. And then once I'm leaving, you're like, oh, you did a great job, stay. Yeah. So that's always been the mentality. And also leaving out, one of the things that I unfortunately use as a mechanism for living with my stepmother was going out of the house was always cool. Like it was always the way that I could run from all the problems. So I've always said, if I go out, it has to be kind of like worth it. Like my time, I have to find joy in the reason why I go out because I never found a reason to come back home. So that's how, it wasn't like I knew anybody or, it was just taking that step and making sure that whatever it was, I did my best and they would always want me to come back.
Do you feel like in some ways you parented yourself?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, because I am, for me, like everything you're saying, what I'm seeing is like someone who grew up really quickly, someone who like matured really quickly. You sound, I mean, I don't know your age, but you sound so mature. Like, I mean, like, no, like so mature, like almost like you know those people that say you are wise beyond your years,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I did how did you even say, like
Parenting
parent?
yourself.
Yes, I did parent myself.
Yeah.
Even though I was with parents.
Yeah.
I was with my stepmother
Yeah.
and my dad.
Yeah.
I did parent myself.
Yeah.
And I wish it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
I wish every time that I wish that my dad is still alive, I wish we are able to have these kind of conversations. There are a lot of things that I would have said to him, and even to my stepmom. Like I've tried to have conversations with her, never goes well. But you know, I wish that I didn't have to do those things that I did.
Yeah. So I now want to move to food. Like what inspired food? Because all the things you're saying, I'm not seeing food anywhere.
Yes. Food has never been.
Where did it
Well,
where did it emerge?
So my parents, my father and my stepmother, they were very well traveled, like business people. So very well traveled. And every time they would come home, you know, they'll bring something. And my father really loved to cook. Like he was a really amazing cook. And my stepmother was an amazing cook as well. The only thing was that I couldn't learn from her because it came with too many insults. But she was an amazing cook. You know, like during growing up, she had a KitchenAid mixer. Like she was great. And they say, you know how parents say, oh, you're bad, let's teach you. It didn't work on me because I didn't have the time to now come and think about how to make granola soup. Because I literally had to like fight for my life every day. So I cannot be thinking of how to make granola soup. But the interesting thing was, the only time my father and I would bond, the only time was when he was cooking. Because he would call me and say, come and grind this for me. You know, he literally taught me how to sweep. He said, this is how you sweep. During all those times, we never had conversations. Like I would never reply or say anything back. But he would try and I would just do it and just get it over and done with. Yeah. So I didn't have that, oh, you're growing, Conco child. I didn't do any of that either. But I knew that I was surrounded with very good food. And then once I left home, I went to uni, I started learning how to cook. But because I wasn't so excited about cooking, I started picking up from different places, like just talking to people and researching and things like that. And then I went into marketing and I worked with food brands, you know, Nestle, Unilever, all those people. So once I was fully full into that company, and I was one of my favorite people to ever work with, Jones. And he would allow me to do strategies for brands. And doing all these strategies just kind of got me interested in what we could do more for the brands. And you know, those times were no influencers. Yes. And we were using Kwame Sefakain and Kojo Ponkroma or Hima Messi. So it's like the more I got into what I was doing for my brands or my clients, the more interested I became in food.
Yeah. Okay, so then you said, okay, you know what? Let me start my. Is that what happened? Like what?
No, I was bored, which I easily do get bored.
Yeah.
And I was working on this strategy, and I came across food bloggers. I said, "What's that?" There was none in Ghana, and I was just doing my research.
What year was this, please?
Jeez, I'm so sorry. I don't even know when I completed school. So you know, I came across a lady called Fran. And Fran is a white lady who is best friends with Mrs. Beta, who owns Flair. Yeah. And they have a website. And I was like, how is this white? Why does she know so much about our food? So I got interested and I was also blogging. But I would blog what the white people would do. Like I would go and try it. And then I was like, nah, like it's like you saying that you make sushi better than a Japanese. Like no matter how long you live in Japan, it will not be better because it comes with culture and tradition for them. So I said no, it's you know, I think it's better for me to learn my things. I had just moved. I was living at Spintex alone at that time. So as I began to experiment, I was documenting it. So at that time, my friend Think Mahogany, she would come to my house, we'll do something, take a picture, she would taste, we'll post it, and then we'll just
post it where? Where were you posting?
I had a WordPress. I had a WordPress at that time. So we're just documenting. And then everybody was so interested.
Was the blog called Mukasechic?
Yes.
Oh, how did you just come up with a name? Like, well,
I think I have a thing with names.
okay.
But that particular one, I wanted a name that would raise like talkability. Like people would ask, well, what is it about? And then I get the opportunity to explain and also to be able to talk about my culture and things.
Right.
You know, and I thought I was chic at that time. I was chic at that time.
Yeah.
So that's how it came about.
Yeah.
But my very first food business was called She Brews, which means a lady who brews coffee. She brews.
Oh, I thought it was like Hebrews, and you just added it. Oh, okay.
So it's a lady who brews coffee. And we were selling coffee, and some people came in and said, "Do you have Angwamo? Do you have Bankwenu?" And then everything just switched.
Interesting. Yeah, no, because I want more and things like that. I mean, these are your things. Like, these are your things. Like, if I'm thinking about Mukasechic, it's like I want more with the fried egg. Yeah. Like, I mean, in there you are. Yeah. Yeah, that's really.
And everything that I cook, or everything that has been known in the past and in the present as my thing, are things that I didn't get to eat as a child. Like, I didn't get the opportunity to go to the market to experience asana and all those things. Like, I never ate from outside. You know, obviously there were great cooks in my house. We had a Chinese chef. Like, there was no way I had the opportunity to experience those things. So when I started living on my own, I was like, nah, this is the time.
Yes.
So I would just walk around Medina markets, drinking asana, eating agbolekako and things like that. I didn't even know what angwamo was.
Yeah.
So once I figured this, the science around cooking the rice and the saltiness and blah blah, I was like, hey, let's.
Before we move back to this thing, this is a question that I need to ask. If your stepmom and your dad knew how to cook, and you also had a chef on top, like what was the dynamics like? Who was cooking? Was there like a schedule, or was there like, how would they cook? Like, would both of them be in the kitchen? Like, how was that like?
No, their relationship was obviously very interesting. Okay. But my stepmother also had a tradition of like cooking so many soup and stews in the fridge. That was a thing.
Okay.
My father has his own, like, he would eat what he felt like eating.
Okay.
And he would have friends over. Okay. Who would come like on Saturday and stuff. They have like just food parties and things. Oh, and then we had this chef who would come in. So it's just like, I don't even know, maybe if something was happening or nothing is happening, he would just come in and make like Chinese food with sauces and things for the fridge or parties. And we didn't have birthdays either. Like, I've never had a birthday celebration. All I know is that if it was someone's birthday in my house, we would go to a restaurant. Like, it wasn't a party or anything. Yeah. But the funny thing is that we'll eat the same thing at the restaurant that we eat at home. Because everything that was at the restaurant, I eat at home. So it wasn't a big deal. So I think later we just stopped and we'll just take a picture or something. Like, we'll have a photographer comes to the house, we take some family pictures, and that was it. So everybody was cooking at a particular time.
Okay. Yeah. What are some of the misconceptions, like, when it comes to you? Because so first of all, you're Mukasechic, right?
Yeah.
You are just sharing something about your upbringing. I can bet you that nobody thought, oh, you grew up with like a Chinese chef cooking. Yeah, you get where I'm coming from. People probably thought, like, maybe you're eating local, and this was your thing. And
but he was Ghanaian, by the way, before you. He was Ghanaian, but he was, he could.
Yeah, but then it would, for them, it's now that Ghanaians are now embracing like our culture and like we are now like loving local things. Yeah. But before, it wasn't cool.
It wasn't.
So you starting that and all that, I feel like it came with a lot of misconceptions, right? What are some of the misconceptions? Not just that, but other misconceptions that you feel like people have of you?
Of me?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, first of all, I think the very first one would be that I'm not very friendly and warm. And I mean, I don't want to explain why, but it's also like because I don't know how to smile. I just recently started laughing like a few years ago.
Was that
because of my teeth?
Yes.
So I never really wanted to like contribute, or I'm just listening and staring and just figuring it out. Because when I open my mouth, then you ask me so many questions. What's in your mouth? Where is your teeth? Like, it was just too much for me. Yeah. So I'll just let it go. So I think I have like they call it a resting bitch face.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, this girl. So I've had issues around that. I've heard so many things. Had issues around, me not being warm, but it's fine. Like I said, it's okay.
Also, you're an introvert, so I don't think you really want to be around a lot of humans anyway.
Yeah. I do not.
Yeah.
What else do I want to say?
What other misconceptions have you
I think also people think I'm older.
Okay.
The name has been around for a long time, so I get a lot of are you sure it's you? Where is your madam? Especially when I work for like elderly people. Let me see your palms. Those kind of things. Yeah. Like, oh, I've heard about the name. Are you sure it's you? Like, I get a lot of that. Which is also very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's actually a compliment in a way.
Yeah, it's a compliment in a way. It is. I mean, what are the other things?
So these things, like, how do they, like, do people close to you come and tell you? Like, how do you even find out? Whenever people tell me, like, oh, someone, I'm like, how do you find out? It's like, what happened? Do people walk up to you and tell you, oh, you're nicer than I thought? Or maybe, I heard, what? Do people come and tell you or what?
Well, obviously, because of the face, nobody will walk up to me and tell me that. But
that's 100.
But they tell other people, and usually I just let it go. Because, people know me will say, but have you ever experienced hair? And they're like, no. And I say, let it go. It's not really a big deal. Business-wise too, I have a few things going around because I've had some dramatic partnership breaks up. So I've had a few things going around. But still, I mean, you know me.
Yeah. I like that. So like
chilled.
Being a woman in a food space, we are coming to relationships, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. No.
Being a woman in that space.
Yeah.
Is it like, do guys just naturally feel like, first of all, do you get guys coming to you because, I mean, you can cook, so it's like, I'm sorted.
This is hilarious. Because I was just discussing this with my cousin and his friends yesterday, and they were just laughing at me. And I was telling them that it's like, you want to come and eat my wachi and eat me on top. I don't get it. It's like, I don't understand. Yeah. Choose one.
Yeah.
You can't do that to me.
Yeah.
But I was telling them about a story about a guy that I thought I was dating, and he would come and eat jollof in my house, and he'd be like, oh my God, it's so good. Jay, you're confusing me. And I didn't understand at that point what it meant by you're confusing me. I thought it was just so good. Only for me to realize like later that there were two girls. So he had to make a decision that the love was confusing him. Yeah, of course. I unfortunately have I do. People come, what do you have at home? Have you cooked? Can I go and take wache? And as soon as you say that, I'm out.
Right.
Yeah, because if we're dashing the wache to people,
there wouldn't be a business.
There's no wache for you to come and collect, And I'm not even cooking in my house for you to come and eat either. Yeah. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not married to you. We are not working. We are not going around like that.
Right.
Yeah. So
you typically do not cook for those you're dating? Or
I've done it before. Okay. I won't lie. But for now, even water is a problem.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. It's like I have to, even water, it's like when you come to my house, do you have water? There's nothing. If you want to buy water on your way, that's great.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of my male friends, they say, oh, then that's why. Because I owe a lot of meals in Ghana food. It's like every time you say I should give you food, it's like, nah, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. So if I actually go out of my way to offer you something, then you must really be special. Yeah. Because no, I'm not doing it anymore.
And that's just because of like their experience with
it. It's not just because I really want people to, I know that it's great that people will like you based on your abilities and your talents, but food is a thing that everybody has a different meaning to.
Okay.
And I want people to be able to know me outside my food. Okay. Outside my work. I've worked for so long. I've worked for so hard. It's like everybody just knows me as a worker, as a woman entrepreneur. I'm done with that. I want people to be able to experience me for, my sarcasm, I'm a joker. Yeah. And I want people to be able to give themselves the opportunity to get to know me. Okay. I can also be serious at the same time, but experience it. Okay. I can be silly and all those things. There are things I like to talk about. I would love for people to experience that, but just not to come into my life, whether in a romantic relationship or a friendship or whatever, but based on my my profile online.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of female friends based on that. Everybody comes in like, oh, it must be glamorous. And they come and realize, oh no, it's not glamorous. Like, she's actually even owing people. It's not, it's not as it looks. And they're like, oh shit, we are out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've lost a lot of friendships that way, and which is fine. But like I said, it will be beautiful for people to know people for who they really are.
Yeah.
Outside who they are as working people.
Yeah.
Because I think about this a lot. And I have these conversations with one of my very close friends, Kojo, all the time. And I say, what would I be known for? I don't want to leave this world and they'll just say, oh, RIPJ, she was a risk taker. She was a woman championing what. No. I think that I want to be known for things like my kindness, my willingness to help people, even my flaws. Okay. I would love for people to know what my flaws are. So that when you come into contact with me to have some sort of relationship, whether friendship or whatever it is, you accept my flaws and I accept your flaws.
Like, how do you think people will be able to know things like that? Like, do you feel like, okay, maybe I should put out a little bit more content about my life so people know me besides food? Do you think about, okay, maybe let's say my name, like your username is Mukasechic.
Yeah.
So already it's food that people are thinking about. Do you feel like, okay, maybe my name has to do with that, or maybe it's what I put out there, or how do you think you'd be able to let people experience you in that way?
So also because I'm a very when I say I'm an intro, people say no, you're not. Some say yes, some say no. So it's like I'm in between that somewhere. Because I'm that, I also have a tendency of not fully allowing people. But I say that if you come into contact with me, forget the profile that we show you. Because we show you what we want you to see. Yeah. It's not really who we are.
Yeah.
You understand? I think that everything is curated. So if you're going to see me based on what I want you to see, which also comes to your point, like what do I also want people to see?
Yes.
But there's also a thin line between relationships online and relationships offline. So offline, if you come and have a relationship with someone offline, but still using the persona online, there's going to be a problem. Because if you want to have a relationship with me as an online person, then I get it. When you say, hey, I say, hey, what's up? And I say, what's up? But you can't ask me, where are you? Because we are having an online relationship. But if it's an offline one and you get the opportunity to ask me, hey, what are you doing today? Why are you? You need to be able to open yourself to experience me. And likewise.
When people like get to know you, what do they, who is that G that they get to know? Like, what do they
So
see?
I don't know if I can answer this, but I asked this I asked this same question to my friend. He was telling me about a girl that he met, and I asked him, what about this? What is it about this girl that you like so much? And when he said it, I said, what would you say about me?
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that, you're extremely kind. You don't expect anything back. You take your friends really serious. You're hardworking and all sorts of da.
Yeah.
I may not be able to show that to everybody.
Yeah.
And I won't be able to control what people should think about me. So whatever experience I give you, take it.
Right.
But I want to give you an experience. So for example, if your husband knows me in a certain way, it's fine. Even if I'm a villain in your husband's story, it's okay. Your husband will not remember me as the watching lady. So it's okay.
Yeah.
If I'm a savior in your story, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I want people to be able to, I don't want people to be able to judge. People shouldn't judge people on what they've heard or what even they've seen online. Experience the person for yourself. Whichever part of the person you get, that's it.
Right.
Whether it's good or bad.
No, it's interesting because I realized that for us, I'm happy that you asked someone and the person said what they have experienced, because a lot of times, like what we think that we are,
it's
other
not
people experience.
Yes.
My youngest, the youngest among my brothers, he told me recently that, you know that you were very, very selfish until you started. You
Wow.
You were very, very selfish until you got married and started having kids. I did not dispute that. I was like, you know what? I absolutely was a very selfish person. I'm not excusing what I did. I have reasons though. I was selfish. I was the only girl.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was so entitled, but I was very entitled. Like I felt like everything should come to me.
Yeah.
Like every good thing, so anytime. And then I was also impatient. So it's like, maybe I want this thing at a certain time.
Yes.
I'm not getting nothing. Why?
Yeah.
That was my thinking. Why am I not getting it? So I was just very entitled, very selfish, and I was selfish in all aspects. I was one of those people that, this person, my friend, that person, I was selfish. I was like, in all aspects. That relationships. I feel like relationships, of course, like don't cheat on a person. I just felt like I won't share.
Yeah.
And other things. So when he said that, I was like, first I did feel attacked. I won't lie. When he first said, I was like, hey. Later, I was like, no, actually, I was.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, so now he's like, I've seen the change. I still feel he still sees a bit of, because, and that's also because, when you see someone in a certain way for years and years and years, it takes a while before you start to see the person. And some people are there that they're just like, nah, you are selfish and you'll always be selfish.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's the kind of person to say, okay, I'm seeing a change.
Yeah.
And I'm also happy that I'm also getting to a point where, actually, no, I've always been self-aware. As for that, I have to give to myself. Like, I'm that person, like I said, when he said I was selfish, I admitted I was. If you say something, I know that this is who I am, yes. But at the same time, there are some aspects to me that I do feel that I may have exaggerated. Maybe I think I'm like, like this, like really nice. Yeah. That I think people are like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So I love that thing about let people accept. I am now getting to that point where I'm getting to accept everyone's view of me.
Yeah.
I took my brother's own because we have that relationship and all that. But I wonder if like a total stranger had come and said, but I would have been like, hey, I don't know if I would have been okay saying, that's what you think about me, and just go. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
How did you get there? Was it therapy? What was it?
So I think it's also like self-awareness.
Okay.
So I got to a point where I was trying to understand how my childhood experiences affected me.
Okay.
And I looked at it a different way. So for example, I was always asking myself, like, why are you so serious about work? Like, why? There are different routes that you can do this thing, but why do you always want to prove to yourself that you can do it?
Yeah.
And I realized that it was because of where I was coming from, because of, my father's attributes and where he also started from and where he got to.
Okay.
We've always had that that natural trait that you can make it happen.
So you got like a drive.
Yeah. Like my father had a drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we all have it. Like in my family, we all have it. Unless you have it and you don't want to use it. But so I realized that. And I realized also about relationships. Because my father was there but was never present. If I was in a relationship with someone and I wanted to make a decision, I already know the decision I want to take. But it's like I feel like I used to feel like let me mellow a little bit so that the boy will feel like, he's daddy. So it's like you make the decision. I'm like, are you serious? Like in my head, I'm like, but so, okay, let's just go with it. So I realized that. I also came to realize the circumstances and the relationship between my stepmother and my stepfather. And I came to this profound realization.
So your stepmother and your father.
My stepmother and my father. And I came to this profound realization that I wouldn't have even dated my father. So I remember having a meeting with my aunties who are grown now, and I say, hey, because my aunties hold my father in such high, it's crazy, even till now.
Wow.
It's like, that's my brother.
Right.
So I remember visiting my auntie once, and I sat in her kitchen. I said, hey, I just want to ask you, would you have dated your brother? And and then she's like, now that I'm older, So once that hits me, that no, everything that happened to you is unfortunate. But there were choices that the person who was taking care of you made, and it affected you.
Yeah.
Because my father didn't make some choices towards who he had a relationship with, towards his family, towards his friends. Everything that happened I bore it, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
My stepmother couldn't see my face because I'm a splitting image of my father. Splitting image of my father.
Wow.
So it's like, I'm sure when she sits and I look at her head and everything just goes, you know,
Wow.
you know, and then after my father died, we realized so many other things. You know, we had so many, you know, he had other children and we had so many. And it's even there, there's also a backlash of you may have been the one who got all the attention or who was loved the most. But nobody sat down to realize that I was the one who was there. I was present, but no one was present to me.
Exactly.
So when I realized that I had like all these little things that I was like, when I had a friend, I remember losing a friend because she said to me that I make everything about me. That was number one point. The second point was she said, when we go somewhere, it's like people recognize you too much. Wow. And this person became a friend to me because she decided to befriend me. And I would always like, I'm calling, hey, how are you? I think it was too much for her. It was too much. I was taking it too serious. But I took it too serious because I don't want you to go.
Yeah.
You understand? I feel like if I give you more attention, I care about you, you'll stay. But now that I've found my friends and I've found like my family again, they love that. They love that side of me.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who understand where I'm coming from. But if you don't understand, it's like, why are you so why?
Yes.
What's the problem? Don't you have family? You know, that kind of thing. So when I'm with someone, it's now become a conflict of, they say you don't care too much or you care too much. Yeah. Because I would just switch for not caring too much. Because I don't want you to say that, you know, you are too much in my face.
Yeah.
But when I decide to care too, I'm also there. So it was for me, realizing all those things made me create a balance. It's like I have a timesheet in my head. It's like if you were my best friend, trust me, like I won't be calling you all this. I'll check up on you and stuff like that. But if I call you, say, hey, you're alive.
Yeah,
you know, that's proof of life. Bye.
Yeah.
You know, so realizing all that and also realizing that some of the things that happened to me, because my life has been fully shaped by my experience with my father and my stepmother. It's like every decision that I've taken, everything that happened to me was from that house. And I've come to realize that some of the decisions that she took was based on what happened with my father.
Okay.
And some of the decisions my father took was also based on what happened from his father and his parents.
Oh, right.
So these are conversations that I have with my grandfather all the time. I have with my grandfather, I have with my aunties, my elder aunties. I say, hey, like even conflict-wise, if you have a group of children, how do you resolve conflict between these children? How do you not show them that one is more important than the other? Because you don't think that it's a thing. But imagine that you have 4 kids and one is doing amazingly well. And now like, it's like he can't do no wrong, but he's doing wrong.
Yes.
And nobody thinks that it affects them.
Yeah.
But it affects his offspring. You know?
True.
My experience would be so different from my brother's experience because he wasn't living with, he would go to his mom and come. So different experience.
Yeah.
But all these things that happen from my grandfather to my father
trickle down to you.
Yes. So it's important for me that I break it.
Yeah.
I don't want to go build my nuclear family based on that.
And for you got the answers from your family, from your
dad's. I got that. Yes, I speak to my aunties a lot. They are way older than me, but I speak to my aunties a lot. I speak to my grandfather a lot. Okay. And I always kind of want to know, even my mother, like the way what my mother expects of me. If she was there, she would say, oh, you know, I'm this, I'm that. But I tell my mother all the time that it's time that you need to go for therapy. So my mother is a pastor, and I know, like, you know, she prays and everything is forgiven by God. But every time I have a conversation with my mother, I say to her, listen, you need to go for therapy. Because all the things that you do, even to me, is from that hurt.
Yes.
But I didn't give you any hurt. I'm not the one who gave it to you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yes.
The person who gave it to you, but this time he's maggot. Like, what's that got to do with me?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
me. But you look so much like him.
I look so much like this man that it's like even for years now, all the results of all those things that he came to do on this earth, is right here on my shoulder.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I feel like a lot of times too, you also probably, I mean, just from what you are saying right now, it's like, so you've had some experiences.
Yes.
It's made you put up some walls.
Yes.
If someone is able to break down those walls, they're able to see the real you, experience the love, all those things.
I'm a needy young girl.
But
like if you break out those walls, you say, oh, you're hard.
You're not. I'm
so soft. Sometimes it's even a bother to me.
Wow.
I'm so soft, it's a bother to me. But because I'm so also aware of myself, it's like I can snap out of that softness. If you're able to break the wall, great. Sometimes I can even decide I'll break it for you. It's depending on what you're coming with. I can break it for you. But the wall is there. And I'm not saying that it's a great wall or it's a bad wall. But it's there. There's a wall. There's a wall.
That's what you have to know.
There's a wall.
And the wall is put up for everyone. Because the way I'm seeing it's like friendships, romantic relationships, for everyone.
Even for family. Like I've spent years coming to realize that the love that you give family is not the same that you might get back. And it shouldn't be strange.
Right.
It shouldn't be a strange thing. Like
that's
so I just let it go.
That's actually very deep. No, that's actually very, very deep. Talking about because for us Africans, right, there's a thing where it's almost like even if the situation you're in family-wise is toxic, that person's your family. I mean, family. Please. We don't get rid of family. So you saying that you giving love and not getting that same back, it's actually different. Like I've never looked at it from that angle. It's always, most of the time you are always, if you did anything wrong, you are always a bad person. So try and bond with family or whatever. But we don't look at it from like, okay, that person, I don't know what it is that a person could be doing back to you, but we never look at it from that angle. Whoever cuts off family is a bad person.
Yes.
That's why what you just said is very interesting to me. Okay. I as we are wrapping up now, I just want to move to what you're doing right now, the philanthropic work and all that. You mentioned something about your friends saying you are very giving, and I feel like it's kind of, I mean, that is probably why you give birth to what you're doing now. Please talk a little bit about culinary.
So
it's culinary for social change. Okay.
I've always wanted to do it. And finally last year I decided to go full time with it.
Okay.
It's a social enterprise, and we're currently building a training center that we are going to educate underprivileged and skilled women with culinary skills. That's what I know.
Okay.
And a few other things that I know, whether from marketing or advertising or wherever I've worked. And basically, I want these women to be able to change their communities.
Okay.
And community shouldn't be a whole of Adenta or a whole of It can be your nuclear family, your extended family. They should be able to have something to fall on. When things become tough. They should be able to see cooking as not just a thing that a woman should know how to do, but an activity that they can make money from and change their whole lives with. So that's the kind of empowerment that we want to give to them.
Is this just for women or women and men?
So for now, it's for women. We are still looking at being able to open it up for men. Once you finish the training with us, we help you to get employment with restaurants and hotels.
Oh, nice.
But we are also building a bakery, which we will launch a GoFundMe later.
Okay.
The bakery is supposed to get them automatic employment.
Nice.
So there's a bakery that we are selling the bread. They get well paid. They get hands-on experience. They can decide to go anywhere they want to go. And then eventually have a cafe. We want to have a cafe that uses local grains and ingredients to do, coffees and teas, tiger nuts, coffees and fonio bread and millet bread.
Yeah.
And when you come in there, you will meet these women who are from the north and have come in and are skilled and they are speaking their local languages or whatever it may be.
Nice.
So that's how we're, trying to work. And I have a great board of people that I'm working with
Good.
in and outside the country. So
How did you come up with the idea though?
I mean, I've always done it. I've always gone to churches and teach people. I love teaching.
Okay.
So I get a lot, like yesterday, someone was having a conversation with me and said, I thought by this time, Jay, you should have really become the #1 blogger. And I was like, nah. I was like, no, sir. You are buying my watch, but no. Relax. Let me explain.
Why do people always have an idea of what they want you to be? That thing is, or maybe like you are doing something right now, and be like, okay, so the next thing, I'm like, can I enjoy what I'm doing right now?
Exactly.
Which is what I want to be doing.
I want to do. And I said to him, listen, I love to teach. I love to share my skills and my knowledge. I've been doing this, like, sharing its market activations, factory activations, doing consultation for people in and outside the country. I want to make an impact, and that's what I know now. So what I know now, I would share. And they would also share with other people. There's always a ripple effect. So it doesn't take anything from me to do that. It rather makes me like really happy. I can't imagine what my joy would be if, let's say, Beard Foundation or some great cooking school says, hey, bring one of your best girls. Like, that's like, I'm made. I'm done. I'll retire.
And that's like the legacy that you
that's the impact that I want to
make.
Just so basically, that's what we're doing.
No, I mean, you're doing really well. I'm excited for your podcast though, more than Jollof. Like I said it. Come on here, who has told me, I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay, now I announce it on a podcast. So I'm excited for that. I love like the logo.
Thank you.
Logo.
Thank you.
When I saw it, I was like, okay, I love it. Like the font style, the fact that you use the Ghana colors, the star, like I love it.
Shout out to Kojo.
Oh, really? Okay. Nah, it was like well thought out.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's also a very exciting route for me to go. Thinking that I'm coming from being the owner of Jollof Festival to having like something like that says Ghana is more than Jollof. It's so different. But then I think it's also my way of controlling the narrative of what Ghana food should be, African food, the conversation around food. It's not just a trend. It's culture for us. So I want to be able to have conversations with, chefs, food innovated, food tech CEOs, streets vendors, cloud kitchen owners, for them to be able to come and share what their experiences basically.
Please have my mom on there, because she has I'm plugging her. This is a very shameless plug. I don't even know what's even going on. She'll probably be watching me say, but the reason why I would say my mom is because just generally for her, I mean her as a person, she's always been curious about like the history of food, and she always has a lot of knowledge when it comes to things like that. So it's just general stories she shares in the house.
You haven't made me meet her.
Yeah, you meet her today. Don't worry.
Are you sure you don't want another sister?
No, I still want to be selfish. But thank you, Jay. Thank you. You're doing amazing. So I really can't wait for your podcast and all the great things that you've been doing.
Thank you. I was really, to be honest, let me be like, I was really scared coming here.
Really?
Yeah, I was. And I'm very happy the way the conversation turned out. Because I was telling my friends yesterday, this girl's podcast that I'm going there, she go and say some things. I'll tell her I have running stomach, but I'm happy where it went. Yes, I will shamelessly say there are some things I didn't want to say. But maybe after a year or two, I'll come back.
Please come back. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.